Okay, so in this video we will see next 5 question, that is from question number 121 to 125, and all these questions are available on examtopics.com website, and all these questions are related to GCP PD exam, that is the Google Professional Data Engineer exam. So let's read question number 121. You currently have a single on-premises Kafka cluster in a data center. Okay, only a single cluster, and that is also on premises in our data center in the US East region. Okay, that is responsible for ingesting messages from IoT devices. Okay, because large parts of globe have poor internet connectivity. Okay, messages sometimes batch at the edge, come in all at once, and cause a spike in load on our Kafka cluster. Okay, so what actually they are saying is like we are using only single Kafka cluster for ingesting messaging from the IoT devices, and the IoT devices are available worldwide. Because of the poor connectivity globally on the internet, what is happening is, let's suppose one device send the message and there is a very less connectivity, so it reached at a very late stage, and the second device also sent the message and it reached at the same time as well. So rather than the one message, a group of messages like suddenly reached at the edge, so it becomes now a batch of messages, and because of that now we have to process so many messages, so that the spike the load on the Kafka cluster get increased. So this is becoming difficult to manage, and it is like bit expensive. So what is the Google recommended? So Google like if you read the question and before going to the answer, if you read that Google recommended approach, and that is also cloud native, and it means Google recommended cloud approach. So generally for this IoT connectivity and whether we have increase in load or not, right, that is scalable. So Google suggested only 2 approaches, right? One is PubSub for real time, and second is the cloud data flow. So now let's read the question answer options. So we have 4 options available. Each TPU as sensor devices for storing and transmitting the messages. Edge TPU as sensor devices for storing and transmitting the messages. This doesn't look good. TPU generally we use for the machine learning models, so nothing related to this. Cloud data flow, okay, connected to the Kafka cluster to scale the processing of incoming messages. Okay, they told that scale the processing of the incoming message. Okay, fine. An IoT gateway connected to the cloud PubSub, cloud data flow to read the process and message to the cloud PubSub. Okay, a Kafka cluster virtualized on compute engine in the US East with cloud load balancing to connect the devices around the world. This doesn't look good, so option D is eliminated. Option A is eliminated. Okay, why option A is eliminated? Because like no concept of the machine learning model, like why we use TPUs when we already use the CPUs or high power CPUs. So nothing related with the TPUs, right? That is a TensorFlow processing unit. Option A eliminated. Option D said a Kafka cluster virtualized on the compute engine in US East with cloud load balancing. So nothing concept of the cloud load balancing. The problem is like because of poor internet connectivity, all the messages at come once, right? So we need to handle this problem, and so that there should not be a Skype. So option D doesn't look good. So, and also this is not a like a cloud native approach. Google never recommend to use the Google compute engine, such kind of things for these scenarios. Google always recommend like cloud PubSub, cloud data flow. So option B and C left. So option B said cloud data flow connected to the Kafka cluster to scale the processing of incoming requests. So they told that connect the cloud data flow to this Kafka cluster. Okay, an IoT gateway connected to the cloud PubSub with cloud data flow to read and process the message from cloud PubSub. So that looks perfectly okay, because generally for the IoT devices they send the message in the real time. So we will connect the cloud PubSub, and all the message will get stored, and it will send the message one by one. So that looks perfectly okay. Option C looks okay. So option C looks okay. Question number 122. You decided to use cloud data store, okay, to ingest vehicle telemetry data in real time. Okay, you want to build a storage system, okay, that will account for the long term data growth, okay, while keeping the cost low. Okay, cost is a factor. You also want to create snapshot of the data. Snapshot means like generally a backup, and that is periodically, and you can make a point in time recovery or clone a copy of the data for cloud data store in different environment. You want to archive this snapshot for a longer time. Okay, which two method can be accomplished this? Okay, we have 5 options, we need to choose 2 options. So basically we are using cloud data store, and which is storing the data, right, and the data could be grow in the future, and also we want to create a backups periodically. Along with that, we want to store these backups in a archive format. So what option, and we need to make sure that the cost should be low. So what 2 option we will suggest? So first option is use manage export and store the data into the cloud storage bucket using nearline or cold line class. So for this snapshot, that looks perfectly okay. That is we will use the cloud storage, and we will store the data into the nearline and the cold line. If we store the data into the nearline and cold line, the cost will be very low, right? And the manage export concept is applicable on the cloud data store. So that looks okay. Use manage export and import to cloud data store in a separate project under a unique namespace reserved for that export. Okay, they told that rather than into the cloud data store, store into the cloud data store itself. Rather than storing in the bucket, store into the cloud data store, but under the separate project with a unique namespace. So that looks also okay. Use manage export and then import the data into the BigQuery table created just for that export, and delete temporary export files. Okay, this will work, but this will increase the cost. Why this will increase the cost? But because they told that export the data from the cloud store into the BigQuery table just for that export. Okay, so let's put today we want to take a snapshot. So for that particular snapshot, we created a table into the BigQuery, right? And there is a limitation into the BigQuery that these export, whenever we did some export from the cloud data store and add into the BigQuery, we can't append the existing table with the same export. So for the next time, that is for the next snapshot, we have to create the one more table, then one more table. So C doesn't look good. Write an application that use cloud data store client libraries to read all the entities. Treat each entity as a BigQuery table row in a BigQuery streaming insert. Assign an export timestamp for each export attached to the extra column for each row. Make sure that the BigQuery table is partitioned using the export timestamp. So this doesn't look good. Write an application that cloud data store client libraries to read all the entities. Okay, read the data from cloud data store, format into the JSON file, compress it and store into the cloud source repository. So cloud source repository is not used for storing the data, is used to store the code. So option E is totally wrong, right? So now we have to select 2 options. We have totally eliminated option number C. Now we have only A, B, C, D left. So out of A, B, C, D, we need to select 2 options. So if you go to the official documentation, so see, these are the data store official documentation. These are the exporting and the importing entities concept. And in the official documentation it is mentioned that let me show you. So data exported from one data store mode database can be imported to another data store mode database, even one in another project. That is option number 2. That is, we can export the database and store into the another project. So that is possible. And and we also store into the Google Cloud Storage. 1 minute. Yeah, we can also store into the Google Cloud Storage. So that is also perfect. So first option is export the data and store into the Google Cloud Storage. So option A and option B definitely looks okay. And if you see this BigQuery option, BigQuery. So there is a limitation, the topic is related basically for the loading data from data store export. So that is export the data from the cloud data store and load into the BigQuery. We can load into the BigQuery, that is not a problem, but the problem is you cannot append data store export data to an existing table with the defined schema. So if we cannot append the existing table, we always need to create a new table, right? So that is not the cost efficient. So this doesn't look good. So only 2 options left, that is option A and option B. So option A and option B looks good. Question number 123. Yes, you need to create a data pipeline, okay, that copies time series transaction data so that it can be queried from the BigQuery by your data science team. Okay, so we need to create a pipeline that just copy time series transaction data and so that our data science team can query this data for the analysis purpose. And our data science team will query within the BigQuery. Every hour thousands of transactions are updated with a new status. So this is the main line here. Every hour thousands of transactions are updated. The size of the initial dataset is 1.5 petabytes and it will grow 3 TB per day. The data is heavily structured. So it is already mentioned that data is heavily structured. And use your data science team with build machine learning models. Okay, they are using the data for the machine learning models. You want to maximize performance. Okay, we want to maximize performance. Usability for your data science team. Which 2 strategies should you adopt? So we have given 5 options, we need to select 2. Okay, so let's see what 2 options we can select or what we can eliminate. Denormalize the data as much as possible. So that looks perfectly okay, because in the BigQuery, if there is a one table, BigQuery generally work better and give maximum performance if the data is denormalized, that is within the single table, so that no need to do some joins, right? So option A looks perfectly okay, because here we have the BigQuery. Preserve the structure of the data as much as possible. So that doesn't look good. They told that preserve the structure of the data. So it's already mentioned that data is heavily structured, and even though if it is not structured and we preserve the data structure, how it will improve the maximum performance for the data science team. So that doesn't look good. Use BigQuery update to further reduce the size of the data set. So they told that perform BigQuery updates to further reduce the size of the data set. So that is even not possible, because there is a limitation into the BigQuery. Within a single day we can perform 1500 updates within a day, and every hour thousands of transactions are getting updated. So update option is not like recommended here. Option B eliminated, option C eliminated. Develop a data pipeline, okay, where status updates are appended to the BigQuery instead of updated. Okay, they told that instead of update, we will like whatever the new data is coming, we will append into the existing data. Okay, but that will increase the cost. But let wait for this, because cost is not the concern here, so it looks okay. Copy a daily snapshot of transaction data to cloud storage and store into an AVRO file. Use BigQuery support for external data source to query. They told that copy a daily snapshot of transaction to cloud storage. If we take a daily snapshot and store into the cloud storage, cost will also increase, right? And again, like if we have to like run the query from the BigQuery and for external data, so that is the cloud data storage, the data is already on the multiple files, right? Then we need to query, we need to issue multiple queries, then it will like also increase more and more cost, so not like increase the performance. So option E is eliminated. So out of these, option A is perfectly okay, and option B, option C eliminated, and out of option D and option E, option D looks perfectly good. So A and D looks okay. So A and D looks okay. Question number 124. You are designed a cloud sensitive historical data processing system. Okay, your data being analyzed in CSV format, AVR format and PDF formats. Okay, and will be accessed by multiple analytics tool including Dataproc, BigQuery, Compute Engine. Okay, a streaming data pipeline stores new data daily. Okay, performance is not a factor. Okay, so we should not care about the performance. The solution design should maximize availability. Okay, it should be maximum available. How should you design the storage? Okay, so there are two things. One is the maximum availability, and the third thing is that we need to like that storage which can like store all these kind of files. All right, so create a Cloud Data Pro cluster with high availability. Okay, store the data in HDFS and perform analysis as performed. So why we are storing into the HDFS? Performance is not a factor here, right? So this doesn't look good. Store the data into the BigQuery. This is wrong because we cannot store the PDF formats into the BigQuery. Store the data into the regional cloud storage bucket. If we store the data into the regional cloud storage bucket, then it should not be the maximum available. So option C eliminated. Store the data into the multi-regional. Multi-regional is okay. So maximum availability factor definitely right. Access the data using Cloud Data Pro. Okay, fine. And in the cloud storage bucket, we can like store the CSV, AVRO and PDF format as well. So option D is perfectly okay. So correct answer is option number D. Question number 125. You have a petabytes of analytics data and need to design a storage and processing platform for it. You must be able to perform data warehouse. Okay, so it is data warehouse style analytics on the data into the Google Cloud and expose the dataset as files for batch analytical tool in the other cloud providers. Okay, so two things. First thing is that we need to create some kind of warehouse analytics. So we have two options, that is BigQuery only, right? And we also export the dataset as a file. So what should you do? Store and process the entire dataset into the BigQuery. So that looks okay, and because it is act as a warehouse. But what about this? In the BigQuery, we cannot expose the dataset as a form of files for the batch analysis tool, right? For the other cloud providers. So that doesn't look good. Expose the dataset, the entire dataset in the cloud Bigtable. Again the same problem, and also it is not the cloud warehouse. Store the full dataset into the BigQuery. So that is okay, because it will consider as a, we can store the petabytes of data, and it also consider as a warehouse and then analyticals. store a compressed copy of data into the Google Cloud Storage bucket. That looks also okay. If we store the data into a bucket, then we can expose the dataset as a files to the other cloud provider. So C looks perfectly okay. Store the warm data as a files in cloud storage and store the active data into the BigQuery. Keep the ratio as 80% warm and 20% active. This will work, but in the question it is they have not said that like our analytical stream will only access the or the that is the third cloud provider only access the warm active data or the warm data. Right, maybe they want everything, right? So option D is eliminated, only option C is correct. So correct answer is option number C. So yeah, that's the end of the video.